Good morning, my dear students. Today we are going to continue the same lesson, chapter 8, before the independence of the Indian economy. Last class we have discussed about the large scale industries. So in the large scale industries in India, there are jute industry, iron industry, cotton industry, sugar industry, fertilizer industry, paper industry, silk industry and petroleum gas we have discussed. So we need not only the agricultural side and also industrial development also we need. So in the last class we have discussed about the large scale industries. Today we are going to study about small scale industries in India. The small scale industries play an important role of development of Indian economy in many ways. About 60 to 70% of the total innovations in India comes from SSI. 60 to 70% of the new technological, new discovering the things, products, comes from SSI. It is a small scale industries. Many of the big business today were all started from small and then nurtured into the big business. So the role of SSI, the small scale industries in economic development of the country is briefly explained in foregoing paragraphs. So what are the role of SSI, the small scale industries in India for the economic development? Last class we studied about the large scale industries for the economic development. Today the role of small scale industries for the economic development. So there are 8 roles about the SSIs, small scale industries, given by in your book. First one, provide employment. Second one, balance regional development. Third one, mobilization of local resources, and fourth one, optimization of capital, promote exports. Sixth one, complement to large scale industries and meet consumer demand, and last one, develop entrepreneurship. So we are going to explain each one. Provide employment. So in the small scale industries, the first role, it says that providing employment, intensive techniques, hence the provide employment opportunities to the large number of people. Thus they reduce the unemployment problem to the great extent. So there are so many small industries, especially from the rural area. So it controls the unemployment problem in India, not to great extent. So the SSI, the small scale industries, provide employment to the artisans, technically qualified persons and professionals, people engaged in traditional arts, people in village and unorganized sectors. So the employment capital ratio is high for in SSI. So these are all the ways the providing the employment opportunities by the small scale industries. And the second one, being balanced regional development by the SSI, promote decentralized development of industries. Most of the SSIs are set up backward and rural areas. இந்த குடிசை தொழில் பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னா ஸ்மால் ஸ்கேல் இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ் பெரும்பாலும் பின்தங்கிய கிராமங்கள் அந்த மாதிரி இடங்கள்ல தான் அதிகமாக இருக்குன்னு சொல்லி சொல்றாங்க. ஸோ தே ரிமூவ் ரீஜனல் disparities by industrializing rural and backward areas and bring balanced regional development. So they help to reduce the problems of congestion, slums, sanitation and pollution in cities. They are mostly found in outside the city limits. So they help in improving the standard of living of the people residing in the suburban and rural areas in India. The entrepreneurial is staffed in different regions, and the income is also distributed instead of being concentrated in hands of a few individual or business families. So these are all the role of SSI's balanced regional development. Next one, mobilization and local resources. The SSIs helps to mobilize and utilize the local resources like a small saving, entrepreneurial talent, and the entrepreneurs which might otherwise remain idle or unutilized. The pave way for promoting traditional family skills and handicrafts. There is a great demand for handicrafts goods in developed countries. They help to improve the growth of local entrepreneurs and self-employed professionals in small towns, villages in India. So it is the mobilization and local resources utilizing by the small scale industries. And fourth one, optimization of the capital. SSIs requires, small scale industries requires only less capital per unit of output. They provide quick return on investment due to shorter gestation period. The payback period is quite short in SSI, in the small scale industries. SSI function as a stabilizing force by providing high output and capital ratio as well as high employment capital ratio. So they encourage the people living in the rural areas and small towns to mobilize savings and channelize them into the industrial activities. So this is one of the role, the pay for the optimization of the capital by the small scale industries. Next role about the SSI is promote the exports. Exports, only when we have more exports we can say that our economy is developing. When there is more import from other countries, our economy is reducing or coming down. So when we have more exports from our country to other countries, we get more income. So the SSIs do not require sophisticated machinery, hence import the machines from abroad is not a necessary. On the other hand, there is a great demand for goods produced by SSIs. Thus, they reduce the pressure of the country's balance payments. On the country's balance payments, however, with the recent past large scale industries are able to borrow large funds with low interest rate and spend large sums of advertisements. Hence, the small scale industries are gradually vanishing. So, SSIs earn valuable foreign exchange through exports from our India. So, through the promoting exports, our valuable foreign exchange through the exports from India is developing by the small scale industries. And next one, complement to the large scale industries. Even though it is in small scale industries, it gives the complement. What is our complement for the large scale industries? SSIs play a complementary role to the large scale sector and support large scale industries. It provides components and accessories and to large scale industries and meet the requirements of large scale industries through setting up units near the large scale units. So SSI serves ancillaries to large scale units. So this is the way is contributing by the small scale industries to the large scale industries. Next one, meet consumer demand. So the role of the small scale industries, meet consumer demand. The consumer demands provide wide range of the products required by the consumers in India. Hence, they serve as an anti-inflationary force by providing the goods of daily use. Especially in the daily use for the consumer goods, only from our small scale industries. We say that matchbox, chalk piece. So some what are the things that we are soap, oil is likewise every day we are using in our daily use. So all the products is produced by the SSI, small scale industries. So it is meet the consumer demand of every day. It all goods is from the small scale industries. The last one, develop the entrepreneurship. The last role of small scale industries is to develop the entrepreneurship. SSI help to develop the class of entrepreneurs in the society. They help the job seekers become a job givers. யாரெல்லாம் வேலை தேடிட்டு இருக்காங்களோ அவங்களுக்கெல்லாம் வேலை கிடைச்ச பிற்பாடு அவங்க என்ன பண்றாங்க அப்படின்னா மற்றவங்களுக்கு வேலை கொடுக்க போறாங்க. So develop the entrepreneurships. They help the job seekers to become a job givers. So they promote self-employment and spirit of self-reliance in the society. SSIs help increase the per capita income in India various way. தனி மனிதனுடைய வருமானம் ஒவ்வொரு மனுஷனுக்கும் தேவை. நாட்டில் ஒரு தனி மனிதனுடைய வருமானம் இண்டிவிஜுவல் இன்கம் அதிகமாக இருந்தால் தான் அந்த கண்ட்ரி வந்து டெவலப் ஆகிட்டு இருக்குங்கிறது உண்மை. ஸோ if the per capita income is good, we can say that the economy is good. So by providing employment opportunities by the SSI, small scale industries, people get income. People won't depend on anyone. So how far the role of small scale industries in the economy? So the income of India is various ways. So they facilitate development of backward areas, weaker section of the society. ஸ்பெஷலாக பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னா ஸ்மால் ஸ்கேல் இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ் நான் ஏற்கனவே சொன்னேன், it was in the backward area or in the village or the weakness area or the rural section or in the poor people. அப்போ அந்த இடத்தெல்லாம் ஸ்மால் ஸ்கேல் இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ் என்ன பண்ணுறாங்கன்னா is they providing the employment opportunities to the people for the self-reliance, for the self-employment. So it is distributing the national income more efficient and equitable manner among the various participants of the society. So they facilitate the development of the backward areas. அப்போ இந்த மாதிரி பேக்வேர்டு ஏரியாஸ், வருமானம் இல்லாதவங்க, வேலை இல்லாதவங்க, இந்த மாதிரியான இடங்களில் எல்லாம் வந்து ஸ்மால் ஸ்கேல் இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ் இருந்துச்சுன்னா கண்டிப்பாக மக்கள் அவங்களுடைய செல்ஃப் இன்கம், per capita income will increase. So the poverty will reduce, unemployment will reduce. How far the importance of the role in the small scale industries in the economic development. Next topic, micro, small and medium enterprises. In your book has given MES, micro, small and medium enterprises. So it is used for defining different kinds of industrial services. However, these limits are subject to change over the time. Manufacturing enterprises, micro manufacturing enterprises, and its investment plant and machinery does not exceed 25 lakhs. Manufacturing enterprises la micro manufacturing enterprises பாத்தீங்கன்னா 25 லட்சம் ரூபாய்க்கு மேல உங்களுக்கு அங்க இன்வெஸ்ட்மென்ட் இருக்காது, கேபிட்டல் இருக்காது. So the investment in plant and machinery does not exceed 25 lakhs. Second one, small manufacturing industries. In these small manufacturing industries, the investment plant and machinery is more than 25 lakhs rupees but does not exceed 5 crores. Third one, medium manufacturing industries. In this medium manufacturing industries, the investment planned on machinery is more than 5 crores but not exceeding 10 crores. So there are micro manufacturing, small manufacturing and medium manufacturing. So each manufacturing, it has its own investment and limited amount. And micro service enterprises, investment in equipment does not exceed 10 lakhs. So it's about the investment, about the various manufacturing enterprises, about the investment. Next topic, we are going to study about the public sector, private sector, and we are going to study about the banks. The public sector is a bank in which the government holds the major portion of the share. பெரும்பாலும் அதிகமாக இருக்கக்கூடிய ஷேர் யாருக்கு கையில் இருக்கு அப்படின்னா கவர்மெண்ட் கையில். So for example, SSI is a public sector bank. So and SBI, State Bank of India, is a public sector bank. The government is holding in this bank 58.60%. Similarly, PNB is a public sector bank. The government holds a stake of 58.87%. Usually in the public sector banks, government holdings are more than 50%. 50% மேல வந்து அரசாங்கம் தான் வந்து இந்த மாதிரியான holding, share holding வச்சிருக்காங்க. And public sector banks are classified into two categories. One, nationalized banks. Second one, state bank and its associates. So in the case of nationalized banks, the government controls, regulates the functioning of the banking system. Some examples are SBI, PNB, BOB and OBC, Allahabad Bank. However, the government keeps reducing the stake in PSU banks and as when they sell shares, so that extent they can also become the minority shareholders in the banks. This in accordance about the private bank. The private banks, what is that? In these banks, most of the equity is owned by private bodies. Public banks, it's controlled by government and more than 50%. In the private sector banks, see there are so many private sector banks like Karur Vysya Bank, Federal Bank, top private sectors in India, Karur Vysya, Federal Bank, HDFC banks and ICCI, Industrial Credit Investment Corporation of India, ICCI, Yes Bank and Kotak Mahindra and the Ing Bank and the Indusland Bank. So likewise, so many banks. But in the public side, IDBI, State Bank, Bank of Baroda, Bank of India, these are all the government banks. So the public sector banks constitute 72.9% share, while the rest of the covered by the private players. In terms of the number of banks, there are 27 public sector banks and 22 private sector banks. As a part of its differentiated banking regime, RBI, an apex, the banking body has given license to the payments bank and small finance banks, SFBS, small financing banks. This is an attempt to boost the government's financial inclusions, but there are maybe other problems. So as a result, the Airtel Payments Bank and Paytm Bank Limited have come up. How far the banks would help the poor people is not known. So it is about the private bank, about the public banks. So in your books, in the page number 179, there are nationalization. In 1969, 14 banks with deposits above 5 crores were nationalized. Next, in 1980, 6 banks with deposits about 200 crores were nationalized. So there is an year, 19 July 1969, in April 5 in 1980, 14 banks deposited with 50 crores in July 1969. In April in 1980, there are only 6 banks with deposits above 200 crores were nationalized. So it is about the bank differences, how many banks, private banks or the public banks are there in the country, and how many banks, nationalized banks in July, in the nationalized banks in July 1969, there are 14 banks, and the rest of the 6 banks in April 1980. So I hope that this class is enough. Next topic we are going to continue about the India's 5-year plans. So far in this class we have covered about the after and before the independence, about the economy and large scale industries we have studied about, and the industrial policy we have studied about, and in this class we have studied about the small scale industries, the role of the small scale industries and manufacturing enterprises and the service enterprises in India for the development of the people, and we study about the green revolution and the systems about the land system, Jamindari system, Halwari system and Ritwari system. So with that we will conclude in this session. Until then we will meet in the next session with 5-year plan. The next class we will be going to complete the 8th lesson. So until then, study well. God bless you. Thank you.